Bear with us, Essence, because I don't think we've ever interviewed people with both of us.
This is the first time. You're the first one.
Yep.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun.
We're gonna have a blast.
You're a perfect person to start with because we all have that Seward connection.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
And we
I
all
love
have
Seward.
Spring Creek connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was actually really thinking about relocating back to Seward. It is beautiful.
Where are you now?
Don't do it.
I'm actually in North Carolina.
Okay, Northgate. That's a big difference.
It is a big difference. What it is that I discovered while I was in Alaska was more of me. I started a spiritual journey in Alaska, and I've always loved nature. It's always called to me. But when I was in Alaska, I was able to experience a side of nature that was untouched. And I have such a appreciation of it. I miss it so much. It's just everything about it, just summer, spring, winter. It's just gorgeous.
I miss it so much too. I moved away about a year and a half ago. I'm in Washington now, and I miss the winters. I miss all the snow. I miss the moose. I miss the earthquakes. Like I miss everything about it. It's a special place.
Who are these people that are missing Seward and crazy because they're missing the winter? This is Liberty up here in this corner. This is Essence Rains, who is going to be our guest on our show today. And we all have a connection because we all live in lovely Seward. And I'm April McCarty. Yes. And we're having a great time. And Essence is going to share her story with us in hopes that someone out there, or maybe lots of you out there, will be like, oh man, I can totally relate to this, or I've been going through this and I want to figure this out, or this is super helpful. So anyway, let's get going. And you were saying you were on a spiritual journey, Essence.
Yes. So I'm not sure how far back y'all want me to go. Before going to Alaska, I wanted to change. I needed a drastic change, and it doesn't get much more drastic than Alaska if you were coming from the lower 48. And so going up to Alaska was I worked at Alaska's only male maximum security prison. And prior to working there, I had zero law enforcement experience. None. The only experience that I had was the fact that I was a mother and I was surrounded by so many experienced officers that cared. And I was very lucky to get on a good shift, because any other shift I would have been in probably Highland Mountain, which is the female prison up there in Alaska, because I do not play. But it was a beautiful experience. What I learned from up there in Alaska was, because what Alaska did was make me sit still. And it makes you focus on yourself, because it's just, Alaska will do it if you have anything going on. That's why when I first moved to Alaska, and I did a whole lot of research, and I wondered why Alaska has such a huge suicide rate. It was like the suicide, capital of the world, of the US. And I couldn't figure out why. But after I got up there and started experiencing a spiritual journey, I started realizing that if Alaska makes you sit still and pay attention to yourself, and you have demons that you're wrestling with, and you're not able to face them, or you don't want to face them, it will push you to the edge, because it makes you face yourself. If that makes sense.
It makes complete sense. And
Yep.
what a beautiful way to word that. I actually wrote that down because it's just, all three of us here on this screen lived in Alaska, and we lived in the same town in Alaska. And so, before we started recording, we were saying how special Alaska is. And that what you just said, that it makes you sit still and focus on yourself, it is unbelievably accurate.
Yep.
It was one of the things that I enjoyed so much about Alaska, because if I can honestly say that had I not gone through that, had I not started focusing on myself, I don't know where I would be right now. Because leaving out of Alaska, I left out of Alaska in 2000. So I was in Alaska for about 4 years. From 2015, I started at Spring Creek, 2015, February, right after Valentine's Day. And I left from there, and it's a little before March. I think it was April 2019.
That's me.
And what I learned from Alaska, focusing on myself, helped me. Okay, 2020, I lost my father, I lost my grandmother, I lost my brother, I lost my aunt.
Wow.
All in the same year.
Wow.
And me having focused on myself in Alaska laid the foundation for healing, because after having lost so many people, I was in a really, really rough relationship at the time. Having lost so many people and having nobody else to really turn to lean on for comfort, because all the people that I would turn to lean on for comfort had passed away. But the journey that I started in Alaska helped me going, because I was able to turn to me. It made me realize just how powerful I am. Now, it took me a while before I got to that point, because having lost all those people, I was sitting in a bed waiting to die. I'm not even gonna lie. The pressure was real, because I had nobody else to turn to but me. Now, I will say that I started turning to anime. Anime helped. I'm a huge anime fan. The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Walking Dead helped too. Yes.
That always helps, right?
And starting Deceptively Unique. Deceptively Unique is a show that I began. What it is, as y'all can see, I am a African-American woman. I'm not sure if y'all didn't see that. Some people might not know. But and there is a problem that is going on in the urban community. And it has been going on for a long time. And the more that I have educated myself, the more I realize just how big of a problem it is. So in addition to what I learned from Alaska, focusing on me, it taught me what it is I needed. It's something in me that just had to help people. I've always been like that. So me starting Deceptively Unique is not really a podcast. I'm not really a blogger. I just jumped into it. And it gave me the inspiration, the motivation that I needed. What it is I'm on a mission to bring back the Black family. There are problems that are occurring in the urban community that outside of those communities, people don't understand it because they don't see it every day. And I see it every day. And people see it and ignore it. I started Deceptively Unique as a way to educate, to inform, to spread knowledge. And it gave me a little bit something extra to be able to push forward, to keep going, to believe in me. And it is the strangest thing, but it gave me life, being able to help others. And even though it may not seem like I'm really physically helping others, I am, through knowledge.
Right.
Y'all stop me if I start rambling.
Nope,
Now,
this is all. Go
I
ahead.
have a question. You said that Deceptively Unique is not really a podcast and not really a blog. So what exactly is it? Where can I find it online?
You can find it. So I am on all platforms, all social media platforms. Essence Reign, Deceptively Unique, YouTube, IG, Twitter. I even have a blog that I recently started called, well, not recently, it's been going on for a year. I'm just the procrastination man. It's called it's called The Rise of the Phoenix, the greatest story ever told, and it's my story.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of different things. My main thing is I want to be able to help my people. We are in a system that was designed for Black people to fail. They call it systemic racism for a reason. And the more I educate myself, the more I realize just how bad it is. Deceptively Unique is a movement. It's more than just a podcast. It is more than just, and can't really describe it because I'm not really sure what it is. I'm going where I'm called. Is like I said, I started my spiritual journey, and this is a part of that journey. I'm also a psychology major. And everything that I learned, as I'm learning, I see so many problems that occur that is wrong with this country. It's not just Black people that this country has messed over. This country is messing over everybody. And I want to do my part to be able to help people get where they need to be.
So what part of your story do you think really opened your eyes to what was going on? Or is there a part of your story that you can look back at and be like, okay, this is where I really realized what was going on, or this is where maybe I had a misconception of this and now I, figured this out or whatever? If that makes sense.
It does. So I'm a work in progress. I have a unquenchable thirst for knowledge. I've always been like that. And I would say maybe back in 2010, 2012, 2013, 2014, I discovered a series called Hidden Colors.
Okay.
And it's a series that was directed by Tariq Nasheed. He is a African American activist, Black nationalism. If you haven't seen it, what it is they started talking about a lot of history, African American history, that I had never heard. I had never heard. Back then, I had never heard of the tragedy that had occurred in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I had never heard of the Lake, Wild Lake, because people go and I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with Lake Lanier. That's a town and a little lake town in Georgia, and it's a tourist town now, but it was flooded. They did that to Black people because there was, I don't know, for whatever reason it is that they do. I started discovering a lot of our history that I'd never heard. This was way back then.
Okay.
And so that started me on my journey because we don't know our history. The race that doesn't know their history is doomed to repeat it. And then I started wondering, why don't we know our history? Why didn't they start telling us this? And so all of that is everything that I've ever been through. When I say it's a journey, everything that I've ever been through is a combination and has rolled into me being what it is that I'm being now. If we don't know our history, we don't. And what it is that I'm learning now is there is a possibility that we may have never even been slaves. Ever. There is a lot of cover-ups that have been occurring within the United States. And the mission that I'm on is spreading education, educating people to what it is that is going on, specifically African Americans, because they don't know. And we went from it being illegal to know how to read and write to it just not being cool. Now, my journey in psychology is telling me that that was strategically done. That is too a part of systemic racism. And all of this stuff is rolling into deceptively unique. And that's why it's a movement. It's not a podcast. And I don't do what it is that everybody else does. I don't care what it is that everybody else does. Because they can't articulate what it is that I'm seeing the way that I am. If that makes sense. Is I'm fighting for justice because I see that there was something wrong. Not just for my people. I see it all the way across the board. And that is what, so if you look on my platforms, I have a Facebook page, Essence Reigns. Essence Reigns is on a mission to bring back the Black family. Because the Black family they have done everything to destroy the Black family. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the numbers. Black women used to get married at a rate every 3 out of 4 women was getting married. At this particular point, that is not the case. 1 in 4. Black home ownership has diminished. It has regressed. They put in all those housing laws and stuff that they say was going to make it equal housing opportunity. It has not made anything equal. And these are numbers that cannot be fabricated. And these are numbers that the world doesn't see. And these are numbers that people in the urban community see, but because we are indoctrinated in a society to feel like what we're giving is okay, that this level is where we're supposed to be at. Have y'all ever heard of the flea? It's the flea experiment.
The flea experiment.
I cannot remember the name of it, and I'm going to have to get better at it. But there is a flea experiment, and it really explains what they did to Black people. So they put fleas, and they built like a little platform or something for the fleas to go into. And so the fleas, they only live like a certain amount of time, right? They can only go so high in whatever this platform is. So what they did was they taught the fleas to only be able to reach this level. And then they removed the platform. So even though the fleas were dying off, their descendants, whatever they have, I don't know the flea word, I don't know what their children are, the flea children, they can only reach that same height.
Interesting.
And that is what they have done to us. And the world doesn't realize that. I see it. And because Black people refuse to educate themselves, because we've been taught that reading is not fundamental. We are not a reading culture, and we should be. We at one time was. What it is that I'm saying is not random. I have watched documentaries, old documentaries of Black people speaking. We were so very intelligent, and I'm talking the vast majority. Not like what you see now. And it fascinated me, like, what happened to us? And why is nobody talking about this? And I latched onto that passion. And that is what gave me the fight that I needed to get up out of bed and start working on me. I started eating better. I started learning how to edit my own videos. Now I had a little bit of help with that, but all my editing comes from me. I do my own editing. And if you have seen any of my old videos in comparison to now, I've come a long way. I'm a work in progress. Like my ultimate goal is to be able to do a completely animated something. I don't know. I'm having fun with the world of content creation, but I'm not doing it for a like, a share, a follow. I'm just doing this to right injustices.